Hello, my name is Harry McNulty and I want to help shine a light on the current situation in the Ireland men's sevens team. I am a former captain of the team. I joined the team in 2015 in its inception when Dave Nucifor and Anthony Eddy joined the IRFU. I went to 2 World Cups, won a bronze medal, and I also went to 2 Olympics. The sevens changed my life. It made me the man I am today and gave me the opportunity to represent my country so proudly for 9 years. Firstly, I believe it is best that we start with the IRFU policy and practices around media to get a better understanding of the entire situation and how the men's sevens program has found itself in this position. The IRFU run an extremely tight ship and only release what is deemed necessary and always ensure it is to maintain their image and push the reader in the desired direction. Normal behavior for a massive company. For players, it is in your contract that you cannot post on social media the night before a game all the way through to the following day after play, even if it is for your own benefit or that of the IRFU. All media requests must come through the media team, and if a player is contacted outright, the IRFU make it very difficult for that reporter or organization to then fulfill their role and do their job. So what is wrong with this? Isn't it normal for big companies? It is completely normal. But it has allowed for this moment to be created, for a team to be shut down. A narrative has been created to minimize shockwaves, to blind the general public, and to fulfill the story that the IRFU want to push. Now, the current media that's being promoted is that the IRFU spends 4.2 million a year on the Olympic program. That was true during the year of the Olympics, but that is now an outlier. That is not how much is spent. It is far less than that. And it would be the equivalent of the extra spend used in the 15's game during the World Cup. The other outlying figure that is being used to promote the narrative is that the IRFU lost 18 million during the year of the World Cup. The reason they lost that amount of money is due to the November internationals not being played in a World Cup year. Every union in the world experienced this loss, and it is a known loss that is coming every single World Cup year. But now that has come back onto the men's sevens program as a financial burden due to these losses. And to give some background into the financials of the team, it costs 1.35 million to run the men's sevens program. 900,000 euros comes from outside of the IRFU. 300,000 from World Rugby, 300,000 from the Olympic Committee, and 300,000 euros from the title sponsors. Also, all travel and accommodation to and from and during the World 7 Series events is covered by World Rugby. So out of the 1.35 million that is spent, at least 900,000 is supplied from the outside. For context, the budget allocated to the committee members for the Six Nations to go on tour is larger than that of the Sevens program. The committee do fantastic work growing the game, but that is showing how much budget is spent throughout the year in different parts of the IRFU. The IRFU is one of, if not the most profitable unions in World Rugby. Currently, there is a double-edged sword with World Rugby and the IRFU. World Rugby has changed the format of the World 7 Series, and while that process was going on, IRFU were able to take advantage of that idle time and allow both programs, the men and the women, to stagnate. Eventually that resulted in both teams being removed from the World Series through relegation. The IRFU blocked the women who were part of the Sevens program and joined the World Cup campaign from rejoining the Sevens squad to help them climb back up the rankings. This would ensure that the results would drop and the team would be relegated. The men's team also saw little support during the season as they traveled to tournaments with 13 players. That's the usual number that they travel with. But on many cases, the 13th man that they traveled with was already injured and would not be able to play that following weekend. The IRFU did not help and support by bringing in other players to allow the team to have a full squad. They then also were not able to get the results that they needed to be able to stay up on the World Rugby 7's series this year. The news broke that the IRFU would stop funding the men's 7's program was released on the 14th of May. It was due to be released on Monday, the 19th of May. But one former player who was at a media day was asked on his opinion on the state of the game and where he saw it going in the future. He was able to formulate his own opinion and read the writing on the wall, and stated that he thought that the IRFU would pull the funding, not support the program anymore, and that it would not be around. The IRFU saw that this was a breach of confidential information and are currently internally scapegoating said player and blaming them for the reason that the announcement came early over social media, which in reality was a knee-jerk reaction to someone's opinion, which turned out to be correct. Not only that, 2 days prior to this reaction, Rory O'Connor brought out an article stating that there was going to be funds withdrawn from the program and that it was going to be academy and club players who would facilitate playing for the Irish team going forward, and that the structure would completely change. But that did not warrant any jump from the IRFU in the media department. Now, let's get to the real questions and why one program is remaining and the other one is ceasing to exist. One is seen as a financial burden and one is seen as a genuine pathway and a great way to grow the game. So how can the same sport be viewed so differently? Unfortunately, this is due to politics. Women's sport is too political to stop supporting. And I am so delighted that the women's game is being supported and they are allowed to grow and develop players and have a genuine pathway. That is fantastic, fantastic news, and it is the way that it should be, and the men should have that opportunity as well. If roles were reversed, there would be utter chaos. Why are the men not offered this opportunity? Who was stated that the academy structure was a better pathway to develop talent in the men's game. I personally was in an academy for 2 years and then left. I would not have been picked up by any other province and most likely not have made it over to France or England for other opportunities. If it wasn't for the 7's, I would never have represented my country internationally and have gone to the Olympics twice, gone to the World Cups, won a medal and represented Ireland so proudly over the last 9 years. Although I did not make it back into the 15's game, I was a part of a spine of a team that is needed and allowed for other players to come in and out of the program. Some of those players went on to be the best players in their provinces as well as in the country. Some names that come to mind: Hugo Keenan, Jimmy O'Brien, Shane Daly, Zach Ward, Rob Balakoon, Nick Timoney. But there are so many other players and it goes so much further than that. Rugby 7's is a genuine pathway. It is not a financial issue. This is a massive blow to Team Ireland and to the Olympics. The IRFU have completely turned their back on the Olympics, the players, staff, support and families. 7's may never make money, but it is 100% the best way to grow rugby. It's very hard to get 15 kids into a club to play a match on a weekend in certain parts of this country. But if you can get 14 kids into the same club, you can have an internal game. Growing the game at grassroots and keeping kids involved in the sport. The 7's teams are ambassadors to the island of Ireland. When would you ever see 15's teams and unions traveling to the likes of Singapore, Hong Kong, Vancouver, LA and Dubai? We are ingrained in the communities, partaking in activations with local schools and clubs, interacting and showcasing the best that rugby has to offer. We allow these communities access to international rugby and give them inspiration to be in our shoes one day. 7's is seen as a loss on paper, but it needs to be reevaluated and seen as a marketing spend. How many cookie-cutter media-trained interviews do we see in the 15's game? This will not grow the game, especially with the younger generation. It's far too boring. In the world of social media and fast-paced growth, marketing correctly is an absolute must. 7's rugby is feet on the ground and some of the best marketing you could ever do. So I ask, at what cost are we saving cost? And if you aren't sure what a fully supported team can do, last season the women's team won the first ever leg on the World Series in Perth. They went to their first Olympics. Amy Lee Costigan is the third all-time highest try scorer in the world. Erin King, after an amazing series, moved into the 15s program and became the Women's 15s Rookie of the Year. In the men's game, we finished second in the world. We gained bronze at the Cape Town World Cup. We've been to 2 Olympics. We've had a World Player of the Year, and also that same player was nominated for a second time and lost to Antoine Dupont. He was also the highest try scorer in the world during one of the seasons. What happens when you leave a program sitting idle? Both teams are relegated within the space of 8 months. I call for support of all players, staff and families affected by the call, for governing bodies to apply pressure and to really see where the financial burdens lie. I am the voice for those who cannot speak but wish to be heard. Thank you.